Teaser pricing is probably the most frustrating part of our real estate market. If it's so frustrating, if everyone says they hate it, why do we do it? That's what I'm going to cover on this video, and we're going to start right now. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Hans with the Gunderman Group. If you're new here, thanks for being here and checking out the video. I'm going to cover some teaser pricing. I'm going to give you a very specific example as to why this works and how it shows up in the data, why the advice of teaser pricing is given to sellers, and hopefully give you a little bit better sense of what you're looking at when you're going out shopping in the market. If you get value out of this, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to continue to put out content like this and you are not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, let's dive in. So I recently came across this, what I felt was a pretty good comparison of a teaser price versus a non-teaser price. And I wanted to give you sort of a play-by-play as to how this broke down and why I think it happened this way. So the first property was 3100 Lincoln Ave. It came on the market on April 4th. It was listed for $2,195,000. It was listed as a 4-bed, 3.5 bath, 72 square feet. The second property came on the market about a month later on May 3rd. It was at 2909 Central Ave, listed at $1,795,000. It was a 5-bed, 2-bath, 4,018 square feet. So really, with the exception of those bathrooms, very similar properties, and obviously they listed it at about a month apart, which normally would be kind of a long time and one would be a comp for another, but that's not what happened in this case. So what ended up taking place is that Lincoln, the property that came on first, on April 29th, took a price reduction down to $1,999,000, which was a pretty significant drop. Finally going pending on May 7th for actually under that price by a significant amount for $1.875 million. So it ended up actually selling for $320,000 under that original list price. And if you are considering taking your buying experience to the next level and you want to get a little more serious, I've got a guide, the Premier Buyer's Guide to the East Bay, down below in the description. It's a guide that I created with my wife. We answer the same questions for all of our clients, so we just put them all into one package and made it downloadable for you and anyone else who wants it. So check that out. It answers all the questions, orients you to the market, talks about teaser pricing as is, all the different things that are sort of unique to our real estate market. So go grab that now. On the other hand, 2909 Central took offers and went pending on May 15th, so only on the market for 12 days, and ended up with 3 offers and is pending for $2,176,000 or $381,000 over the asking price. Now, in my opinion, these houses should have sold in a fairly similar range. I would argue that the one on Central probably overperformed what was possible and the one on Lincoln underperformed what it should have. Why was this the case? Well, now you can't blame it 100% on the list price, although I do think that that's a really important dynamic. The presentation was really solid in both. They were nicely photographed, nicely staged. They had a lot of light. They had some really good upgrades. They were actually in really good shape. The inspection reports were all fairly clean. There were a few things here and there, like many old houses, but nothing to get too excited about. And they matched up both in location, size, bed bath count to more or less. Obviously, Lincoln had more bathrooms, but one drastically overperformed the other as far as sales price is concerned. So what was that overperformance and or underperformance due to? Can't blame it 100% on the pricing strategy, although I do think that that had a big impact. And there are 3 things that we know to be true in this market that I think that help to explain the drastic difference in performance of these 2 properties. The first is simply people want what other people want. When you can create a sense of missing out and a sense of competition, people lean into that. When you get the sense that a property is lingering and it's starting to collect days on market and no one else wants it, you kind of like, why does no one else want this property? Should I not want this property? Whereas when you've got a number of people at the open house and people saying they're going to write offers, you're like, oh, this is popular. Someone wants this. This must be a good property. I want this too, right? And so you lean in. And that creates, we have a saying in real estate, offers beget offers. And when you get an offer, it often creates a second or a third offer. That is really, really common all over the country because people want what other people want. So that's principle number one. The second thing we know to be true in this market is that buyers don't like to be told what to pay. When you put what we call a transparent price on it, so I would say Lincoln led with a more transparent price than the central property, it signals to the buying population that this is what I want, or I want a little bit more than this, but this is close. And people really don't like to be told that number, especially on the open market. And I think it's because of this. When people are either feeling told what to pay or they're met with a really large disclosure item, they lock up their emotions, they put their logic hat on, and they start to make decisions based on left brain logic, and they try to intuit or logic themselves into it, which rarely works when you're talking about buying real estate. In our experience, the best outcomes come when people are open and free to make those decisions with emotion and then back them up with logic. And that's what a teaser price does. It keeps the possibility of openness. It doesn't lock you into any kind of a price or a number that you're anchored on and you have to logic and grind your way into. It lets you say, oh, I'm not really sure what this will totally sell for. I gotta do some diligence, and then I gotta see how it looks and feels, and then what the disclosures say and what the comps say. And it lets you have this interplay between the emotions and the logic that you don't get when you have a teaser price or a more transparent price in our experience. So that's the second thing. So people want what other people want, and people don't like to be told what to pay. So when you can create that sense of competition and give someone the openness to kind of toggle between emotions and logic, that's when you get the best outcomes. Now, the teaser price in general, like what Central did, is absolutely what did it for this property. It allowed a lot of people to come in and see it. It gave people a starting point that said, maybe if it stays right around that price, I might be able to grab it. But then the people who could really afford it were also there too. And so it created this vibe of like, I gotta come for this house. I gotta really get it. If I want to make this my home, I've gotta bring it, frankly. Whereas the one on Lincoln came with a much higher price, it probably deterred a lot of those people who thought, oh, it'll go way above that, someone's going to overbid it, I'm not even going to look. And that's that logic brain coming into play and taking them out of the picture. And so what can you learn from this? If you see a property out there that is enticing to you, but it feels overpriced, it's probably worth a look, because a lot of other people are just going to not show up or even give it a consideration. And you never know. Like this one, it might actually sell below that listing price. We're seeing that more and more, especially as you start to collect days on market. It's not always true, but it can be. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And on the flip side, don't get too married to the price that the house is listed for either way, because it's likely to change one way or another. Most of the times it goes above the list price, of course, because it's most of the time a teaser price, but that doesn't always mean it will. Sometimes it means that it's just overpriced and it will come down eventually. So I've done a few other videos about teaser pricing and that whole model. I'll link to those up here to give you actual dollar per square foot sales numbers for different neighborhoods, and I'll continue to add to that playlist as well. But this is about what the logic is behind this teaser pricing, what the strategy that most sellers and listing agents are trying to create so that the property performs the way that it can. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with human psychology, people wanting what other people want, not being told what to pay, using their emotions and their logic. That is the dynamic that's being created when these properties come to market. And so if you know what the logic and the strategy behind that is, maybe you can apply it for yourself and have a better outcome in your shopping experience. So hopefully you got some value out of that. If you did, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to continue to put out content just like this every week and you're not going to want to miss it. And if you're ready to take your buying process into the next level, I've created what I'm calling the Premier Buyer's Guide. It's downloadable for free down in the description of the video. It covers all of my knowledge that I have, how I orient my clients to this market so they can have ultimate success and not spend a ton of time spinning their wheels. Gives you everything you need to know about how to be successful here in the East Bay. And you want to engage and talk more specifically about your search, how I might be able to help, I would be honored to do that. My information is down below right here, as well as in the description. Just shoot me an email. I'm getting messages from people every single week, just like you, who are a year out, a couple of weeks out, decades out in one case. But if you're thinking about buying or selling here in the East Bay, and you want to engage, just shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. So without any further ado, signing off for now. My name is Hans with the Gunderman Group. We'll see you on the next one.